There comes a moment in every life when a man must confront the truth of himself. Not the polished version he shows the world, but the quiet, trembling self that hides behind excuses, fears, and doubts. Weak feelings, fear, self-pity, guilt, hesitation. These are the silent killers of ambition. They wear the mask of humility and caution, but make no mistake, they are thieves. They rob you of power, rob you of purpose, and chain your potential to mediocrity. No man was born with fear in his blood. It was learned, and what has been learned can be unlearned. You were created to dominate, to direct, and to decide. But none of that is possible until you kill your weak feelings. Not suppress them, not reason with them, kill them. Bury them under the weight of purpose, action, and clarity. Until then, you will remain a slave to moods and emotions that have no business running your life. Weak feelings are the great illusionists of the mind. They show up dressed as permanent truths, whispering to you in moments of fatigue, loss, confusion, or fear. They tell you that you are not good enough, that your efforts are worthless, that your future is doomed before it begins. They present themselves with such emotional weight, such inner conviction, that you begin to mistake them for fact. But understand this, feelings are not facts. They are not the voice of destiny. They are simply passing states, reactions to your thoughts, your environment, your chemistry, and your past conditioning. And because they are temporary, they must not be obeyed as permanent law. And when a man feels afraid, he believes danger is near. When a woman feels overwhelmed, she believes the burden will break her. But how often is fear not based on real threat? How often is the overwhelm not due to the actual size of the problem, but the distorted belief that she must handle it all at once? The mind under pressure becomes a poor interpreter of reality. Weak feelings rise most aggressively when your clarity is lowest. That is their nature, to dominate your thinking when your defenses are down. That's why you must develop the discipline to observe your emotions without becoming them. And weakness will speak in your own voice. It will speak with your own memories. It will even use your logic against you. You've failed before, it says. You've never been good at this. People like you don't succeed. These phrases do not arrive with a warning label. They arrive as private conclusions that feel accurate. If they are lies, spoken from a low state of mind, if you choose to believe them, if you act on them, then you are handing the wheel of your life to a phantom. To kill weak feelings, you must first call them what they are. States, not truths. A state of mind can be altered. It can be influenced. It can be redirected. What you feel in a moment of despair is not a sentence. It is a signal. But most people confuse the signal with reality. They let the signal write their story, and in doing so they trap themselves inside a prison made of emotion. The man who wins is not the one who never feels fear, doubt, or failure. He is the one who refuses to be ruled by them. He recognizes them as passing clouds and waits for them to clear, or drive straight through them. To do this, you must build your mind into a fortress, not one made of walls that shut life out, but one made of strength that filters emotion with wisdom. You must install a governor in your thinking, a master switch that says, this is how I feel, but this is not who I am, and this is not what I choose. That inner authority must be cultivated through daily practice. You must catch the voice of weakness in the act. You must question its assumptions. You must delay action until your mind is clear, because the cost of obeying a weak feeling is always higher than the pain of resisting it. Self-pity is the most seductive of all weak emotions, for it disguises itself as comfort. It tempts you with softness when life grows hard. It whispers, no one understands you, and tells you that your suffering is unique, that you've been unfairly treated by life, by people, by fate itself. And while it soothes your wounds for a moment, it poisons your power from the inside out. Self-pity is not the cry of the wounded. It is the surrender of the capable. It is not healing. It is decay. The man who indulges in self-pity is not tending to his pain. He is nurturing weakness, feeding it, allowing it to become part of his identity. The longer you sit with it, the more it convinces you that you have no way out, and eventually you start to believe it. This is how self-pity kills. Not with force, but with persuasion. The most dangerous thing about self-pity is that it makes power feel wrong. It reverses your inner compass. Action begins to feel like a betrayal of how bad you feel. Discipline feels like a denial of what you have been through. And so you stay in place, not because you can't move, but because movement threatens the identity self-pity has built for you. It convinces you that healing means being seen as a victim, when in fact, healing begins when you stop identifying as one. And this illusion is responsible for more ruined potential than any external enemy could ever cause. People rarely admit they're indulging in self-pity. They dress it up in language like processing, coping, or taking time. And while these words may have merit in some contexts, far too often they are masks for avoidance. Avoidance of responsibility, of decision, of action. The truth is that many people do not need more time. They need to stop feeding the part of themselves that enjoys being pitied, as there is comfort in being seen as the one who suffers. It comes with attention. It comes with sympathy. It even comes with lowered expectations. And for the undisciplined mind, that feels like a gift. But it is not a gift, it is a trap. The moment you feel sorry for yourself, your power begins to drain. Not because life has taken it from you, but because you have abandoned it. You cannot hold self-pity and self-mastery in the same hand. One must be dropped. And if you do not choose, the weaker one will win by default. If you want to rise, if you want to claim the authority over your own life, then you must treat self-pity as the enemy it is, not with hatred, but with refusal. Refuse to indulge it. Refuse to argue with it. Refuse to entertain its stories. Stand up, mentally, even if you are on your knees physically. Tell yourself, I may have been struck, but I will not stay down. Self-pity is not a phase. It is a decision. And that decision leads either to decay or to awakening. Courage is not a gift. It is not handed down. It is not found in calm conditions or soft surroundings. Courage is built, and its raw material is struggle. It is born in fire, in moments where fear has the upper hand, where the outcome is uncertain, where everything in you screams to retreat. That is the arena where courage is formed. It is not formed in the comfort zone, because nothing that grows in comfort can withstand real pressure. Comfort is a sedative. It dulls the instincts and softens the will. The man who remains in comfort too long forgets how to fight, and when challenge finally comes, as it always does, he finds himself empty, fragile, unprepared. People admire courage, but forget what it costs. They want the strength without the suffering, the confidence without the conflict. But these things are not separate. You will never become bold by avoiding resistance. Every courageous man you've ever known was first a man who walked through fear while still feeling it. He did not wait for the feeling to pass. He acted in spite of it. That is the great truth. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of it. It is the decision to move while shaking, to speak while your voice trembles, to take the step even when your mind throws every reason not to. You do not grow stronger by being told you are strong. You grow stronger by becoming strong. And that becoming only happens when you subject yourself to the heat of discomfort. The gym doesn't build you up without tearing the muscle. Life works the same way. You must voluntarily enter difficulty. You must chase the moments where everything inside of you wants to shrink. That's where your edge is. That's where your character is refined. That's where you discover what you're truly made of. And more importantly, that's where you change. Too many men wait for perfect conditions before they act. They wait until they feel ready, until fear goes away, until the plan is flawless. But by the time those conditions arrive, the opportunity has passed. What they don't understand is this. The man who builds courage is the one who acts before he feels ready. He uses discomfort as a trigger, not a barrier. When fear shows up, he sees it as a compass pointing him toward the next layer of growth, because what you fear doing is often exactly what you must do. Comfort breeds delay. Delay breeds decay. Every day you avoid the fire, you lose a piece of yourself. Not because you're weak, but because you're refusing to forge strength. The fire is not your enemy, it is your training ground. It burns away the excuses, it purifies your mind, and it leaves behind only what is real, only what can stand the heat. If you want courage, you must. Excuses are the polished language of fear. They come dressed in logic, cloaked in reason, and armed with convincing stories. But beneath the surface, they are nothing more than weak feelings wearing masks. No man is born with excuses. He builds them when the discomfort of action feels heavier than the pain of stagnation. He does not want to admit fear, so he calls it timing. He does not want to face discipline, so he calls it rest. He is not ready to commit, so he hides behind planning, preparation, and perfectionism. Excuses never speak in the voice of a coward. They speak in the voice of a thinker, a strategist. a concerned realist. But their true purpose is to paralyze. The longer you listen to them, the more convincing they sound. I don't have time. I'm too tired. It's not the right moment to clip each one down, and you will always find an emotion behind it. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of responsibility, fear of success. That is why they must be treated not as statements to evaluate, but as enemies to confront. Excuses are not intellectual positions. They are emotional shields designed to protect your comfort at the expense of your growth. The man who lives in excuses is a man at war with his own potential. Every excuse he allows strengthens the grip of weakness over his mind. He doesn't realize that with each justification, he is training his brain to retreat. He is rehearsing failure, normalizing surrender, and reinforcing the belief that external conditions control his outcome. But life does not bend to reasons, it bends to results. And results are created not by what sounds reasonable, but by what is done in spite of resistance. Excuses will always appear reasonable to the undisciplined. They are tailor-made for the mind that wants to avoid pain without admitting it. They provide an easy exit, a soft landing, a temporary peace. But they come at the price of progress. There is no man alive who has achieved anything great who did not have every excuse to quit. The difference is that he saw excuses for what they were: lies. Lies told by fear. Lies told by comfort. Lies told by the weaker version of himself. And he made a decision not to negotiate with those lies, but to reject them entirely. You must build the same habit. Train your mind to answer every excuse with action. When it says, "I'm tired," move anyway. When it says, "I'm not ready," do it anyway. When it says, "What if I fail?" respond with, "Then I learn." Because action is the only antidote to excuse making. Excuses lose their power the moment you expose them, the moment you stop hiding behind them, the moment you treat them not as truths to obey, but as signals to defy. Until that happens, they will continue to run your life from the shadows, quietly, consistently, and without resistance. The strongest weapon you will ever carry is not in your hand, it is in your mind. Your mind is your first battlefield, your command center, your engine room. And yet, most people walk through life with it untrained, unguarded, and undisciplined. They feed it garbage, let it drift into distraction, and expect it to deliver clarity and power in times of pressure. That is not how mastery is built. You do not rise in the world with a mind that is soft, scattered, or reactive. You rise with a mind that has been sharpened on purpose, with repetition, through discipline. Just like the body responds to training, so does thought. The difference is, a weak body is visible. A weak mind hides in plain sight. You can look strong, speak well, even appear confident. But when pressure comes, the truth is revealed. The untrained mind panics. It second guesses. It clings to emotion, claims defense. The trained mind stays calm. It assesses. It adjusts. It moves. That difference determines whether you fold or rise. A man who does not train his thinking will always be ruled by circumstance. He will believe everything he feels. He will chase every shiny object. He will be enslaved by moods, addicted to comfort, and hijacked by fear. He will react to life rather than create it. But when the mind is forged in discipline, it becomes a filter. It blocks the noise. It disarms the drama. It focuses like a laser. That kind of mind is rare because it requires work. Not once, but daily. Mental strength is not an event. It's not built by reading a quote or watching a motivational video. It's built by how you think when nobody's watching. It's built when you choose focus over distraction, order over chaos, purpose over pleasure. And most of all, it's built by the thoughts you allow and the ones you refuse. Your mind is not a dumpster. It is a weapon. And if you treat it like one, it will serve you with precision. If you neglect it, it will misfire every time. One that pulls you back and one that pushes you forward. The untrained mind listens to the first. It justifies weakness. It rationalizes delay. It agrees with fear. The trained mind catches that voice and corrects it immediately. It replaces doubt with direction, hesitation with movement. It sees through emotion and extracts truth. That kind of thinking isn't natural. It's earned, and it only comes through repetition. You must drill your mind the way a warrior drills with his weapon, with intensity, with purpose and without compromise. Read with focus, reflect with honesty, guard your inputs, question your defaults, and above all, act in alignment with the thoughts you choose to believe, because if you do not train your mind, someone else will, and you will become a soldier for their cause, not your own. Discipline is the executioner of weakness. It is not glamorous, it is not loud, and it does not ask for recognition. But it is the one force that cuts the throat of every excuse, every hesitation, every soft urge that tries to call back into your mind. Weakness cannot survive in a disciplined life. It may try to speak, but it will not be heard. It may try to pull, but it will not be followed. Discipline does not negotiate. It does not care how you feel in the moment. It moves forward regardless. It is the daily decision to rise above comfort, above laziness, above emotion, and to align yourself with what must be done, whether you like it or not. There is no greatness without discipline. There is no consistency, no growth, no momentum. You can have all the ambition in the world, but without discipline, you will burn out. You will collapse into your moods, your cravings, your self-pity. Discipline is the difference between the man who dreams and the man who becomes. Most people think discipline is restriction. They see it as punishment. They say it's rigid, cold, unnatural. But that is the perspective of the undisciplined. Discipline is not punishment. It is power. It is the mechanism through which potential becomes performance. The emotional mind hates discipline because it kills the illusions the weak mind wants to protect. Illusions like, I'll start tomorrow. I don't feel like it. I need more time. Or I'm not ready. Discipline exposes these for what they are. Comfort-based lies. It replaces them with clarity and control. Discipline does not wait for inspiration. It creates it. It does not wait for motivation. It overrides the need for it. Discipline is what remains when the mood is gone, when the feelings shift, when nobody is watching, and there's no applause to be earned. The man who builds discipline does not trust himself to feel like it. He builds systems. He sets standards. He honors structure. He chooses commitment over chaos. Discipline is not about doing hard things for the sake of pain. It is about doing what's required over and over again until excellence becomes normal. It's showing up when you're tired, focus when you're distracted, calm when you're under fire. It's waking up with a mission and attacking the day as if your future depends on it, because it does. Every act of discipline is a vote against the weaker version of you. Every time you keep your word, every time you execute your routine, every time you do the work no matter how small, you are starving the soft parts of you that once ran the show. You don't rise by accident. You rise because you kill off every behavior that keeps you average. And the tool for that execution is discipline. Cold, consistent, non-negotiable discipline. The kind that doesn't ask for approval or understanding. The kind that gets results whether or not you're in the mood. Because results don't come from feelings. They come from standards that are honored no matter what. Now, you've seen the path. You know the cost. And you know that success is not some distant mythical event. It's the sum of the small daily decisions you make. Decisions to face discomfort, to discard excuses, to train your mind, and to commit fully to discipline. If you want to step into your potential, to break free from the chains of weakness, you must take action now. There is no waiting for tomorrow, no hoping for better conditions. The time is now. And the only thing that stands between you and your next level is your own resolve. So ask yourself, are you ready to kill your weak feelings, eliminate your excuses, and embrace the hard work that will reshape your life? The choice is yours. But remember this, your greatness is waiting, and it will only meet you when you stop making excuses and start making progress. Let that be the final decision that drives you forward, and let it be the one you act on today.